Oh, me. Well, let's get started this Sunday morning. Maybe signed in just a few seconds early here. Let's see. So I can get the chat up and going. Oh, all the settings seem to be pretty good. Double check my settings. Signal looks pretty good here. Maybe we'll get some people in on the chat in a few seconds. Getting a few people pop. Hey, Chris, first. Yes, sirree, you're first. Glad to see you in here this morning. How's the weather out there in Kansas? Is it y'all seem to be getting the brunt of it every time I turn around? Y'all keep getting the snow and the ice and everything else out there. How's it going? I hope you can weather the storms coming through this winter. Yeah, I wonder where Ponca is. Ponca hadn't made it in yet, has he? Yeah, we're gonna have to get everything stirred up here, and it's about 40 degrees outside. Okay, well that's nice. Yeah, we've had a very mild winter here in Cherryville and North Carolina, in this part of North Carolina. This has been one of the mildest winters that I can remember. That being said, now as soon as March gets here, I remember when I was a kid and lived just down the street from here, just about 100 yards from here, or maybe 200 yards. We had a terrible winter back in 1960. That's right. Yeah, I hope everything's okay with Ponca. There he is. Oh, you didn't get the ding ring. Oh, okay. Chris beat you in here. Yeah. Sorry you didn't get the notification ring. Yeah. Well, we're trying. I hope everybody's got it set so they can get the notifications and everything. We're trying to get out here and grow the channel. The channel's growing pretty good, and I'm proud of that. And we've been on a lot of different chat rooms and a few other things like that, and seem to be picking up a few more people to talk with and chat with that have a lot of our similar likes and dislikes. So I'm happy that we're growing the channel, and hopefully we'll have some things to talk about every Sunday morning that people will be interested in. Hey, Joy, how are you? Oh, you're coming from New York, 21 degrees up there. Wow. All right. Well, we're not quite that cool. I think if I had one of my Google things here, I'd ask it, but let me see if Google will tell me. I forgot what temperature it was. I actually just threw on a coat and came on out to the store, so I didn't really check the temperature. Although it was frosty on my windshield, had to get it checked out. Let's see if it tells the temperature. Oh, it's 32 degrees. There you go. What would we do without technology? I mean, we've got, so much technology in phones right now. It's pathetic. Phones and the computers and everything else. I mean, we let technology really does rule our life nowadays. I mean, it rules us in all sorts of ways. Let me straighten up my shirt here. I got do my little advertisement. There's my Napa store. Of course, there's my FedEx. I'm wearing both brands here this morning, guys, so I can advertise both of my entities that I'm affiliated with. No, I don't own that house. That it was a little wooden house. Well, it wasn't even a block house. It was a little wooden frame house. It's got siding on it. It's about 200 yards from where I am right now. Mom and Dad, that was the second house they had in Cherryville. That was the first one Dad bought. I think he rented one in one spot when he moved into Cherryville, and then my dad took a job at Carolina Freight Carriers. I think y'all guys have seen me, show the Carolina freight truck. up there. When I was little, we moved into a house in a area where several drivers were, but it was a rougher part of town, and Dad quickly moved away from there. And we bought a house right here off of 150, Highway 150, where my store is here. And we lived there from the time, I want to say, from the time I was about 2 or 3 years old until I was in the third grade. I went through the third grade over there. And then after that, Mom and Dad actually built a house on the other side of town. And that's where I was raised the majority of my life. Hey, Shoestring, glad to see another FedEx driver in here. Oh, no, I'm not open 7 days a week. I'm just over here at the store on the seventh day. I come over here and do my show, and I do, just tidy up and do a few things in the office while I'm over here. But no, I don't run 7 days a week. 6 days a week is enough for me. Ours is more based for garages and everything else. Well, of course, we have a lot of walk-in traffic too, but I'm not trying to beat down the bushes for every single penny on that. And I just don't, we could do it. And there are some Napa stores that do it, but the majority of Napa stores are not open on Sunday. There are a few around, and one day it may take that. I don't know. I hope not. I hope I don't have to. I like to be able to rest a little bit and not have my trucks running or my Napa store running. My trucks run 7 days a week. I don't have them running this Sunday morning right now. Every once in a while, I'll get calls for that. But right now, when we're not in peak, I don't run 7 days a week off with a majority of my trucks. Now, what we've got, we're on a 7-day rule, but I don't have that many that are running 7 days. I've got several that I've got 3 lanes right now four. I have 4 lanes that are on a permanent 6 day a week that they run 6 days a week, and they have 1 day of rest. And then during peak, we'll run 7 days a week. And that's the one that really wears me out, because peak season, we have to hire so many extra drivers and part-time drivers and everything else. It gets really tough. I employ about 50 people, Joey, between my drivers and my Napa store and my garage. So I own 2 garages. I employ about 50 people. So it can be a daunting task. It's a daunting task to write that payroll check each week. I can tell you that. Yeah, no, I own a Napa Auto Parts store. The Napa Auto, I actually maybe one day will have a Napa Auto Service Center, because I bought an old Ford dealership, and I've got a 12-bay garage out here, but right now we got it full of parts. And I could open up a Napa Auto Parts Service Center. a Napa Auto Service Center. And if I wanted to, I'm actually approved for that if I want that. Oh, so you'll have 23. Well, you're catching me. 10 more years, you'll catch me, Shoestring. Yeah, I've got 33 years with FedEx. It started out before it was FedEx. For me, it was RPS. I started out with a company called RPS, which was started by a roadway package system. I started as a package van driver when I first got on, just to get started. And then they opened up the line haul about 6 months later, and I got the line haul. And I've been with line haul ever since. My experience with Carolina Freight was switching and line haul anyway. So I was a local driver for Carolina Freight. So that was more my cup of tea, you might say. I didn't want to run the package van. I did it. Probably would do me good in some ways, except my knees wouldn't hold up now. I lost 40 pounds From the time I signed on for the first 6 months, I lost 40 pounds by going to the package van because it would run your legs off. I mean, delivering all those I forgot how many average. I think we averaged about 95 stops a day, and it was running me to death. Yeah, when you started, it was American Freightways, right? And then, yeah, American Freightways got bought out by FedEx, and RPS got bought out by FedEx, and yeah, that all came about the same time. And then RPS and Roberts Express, and then they changed Roberts Express over to FedEx Custom Critical is what they call it now. Yeah, they Hey Greg, how are you doing this morning? Cherryville, North Carolina was on the National Weather Channel. Why was it on the National Weather Channel, I wonder? I didn't know that. I'll have to check that out. I didn't know. No notification today. Well, I'm sorry about that. Sometimes, YouTube does that. You'll have it marked, and I've had some of the shows I like to watch that don't get dinged too. So you have to watch that sometimes. Just set your clock. 9:00. I try to be here prompt and everything. Flooding of some kind. Well, no, we didn't have any flooding over in Cherryville. I mean, they've had it around Cherryville. They've had some in Charlotte and other areas, but not, the town of Cherryville hasn't been flooding. Maybe that was another area. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Double check your notifications on that. I haven't changed anything on my end, so I hope everybody can get their notifications so they can ding in here and check it out. Why was that one held? Okay. Well, Custom Critical hauls point to point. I have to scratch my nose here. Maybe somebody's coming. That's the old saying: if you scratch your nose, somebody's coming. Custom Critical is point to point. In other words, they pick up something at say at one customer and take it directly to another customer, or it is a it's not like us. Ours goes back to a terminal and then is repackaged and everything, and then sent out on trailers. Custom Critical, in other words, a lot of times it's medical and things like that, or just anything that's critical, like it says, the Custom Critical. If a customer is selling something to a specific customer in another location, then they'll pay expedited freight. Well, and that's the other. If you're familiar with expedited, that's another terminology for that same thing. Ooh, I'm gonna have to sneeze, guys. Hold on a second. All right, everybody say bless me. I had to sneeze. Better wipe my hands now. I got I'm gonna have to wipe my hands and my mouth and everything. Whew. Yeah, that's why they have those big sleepers. Those people basically live in those trucks, and they'll be out on the road for months and months at a time. Usually, it's a lot of times it is husband and wife teams too, and some of them, I don't even know if some of them have homes other than that, or maybe they have I mean, some of them are, saving up for homes or something like that, but most of them actually live out in the truck year round. Hey, Heavy Wrench, how are you? I'm doing pretty good, out here trying to get some things going this morning. Yeah, you don't need, custom critical is not, it's a different lifestyle. I would not consider that. I mean, if you've already made 100K and you've hustled like you've done, Shoestring, I would definitely, you know, I think FedEx Freight for you is doing a good job. Uh, you're getting a good hourly wage and benefits and everything else. I don't see whereas you could benefit at all doing anything other than that. I mean, that's a lifestyle change. I mean, you look at the ones with custom critical, and that, like I said, that's usually a husband and wife team. I knew of a couple that have done like that, and if you and your wife want to go out and be on the road 99% of the time, then that's probably your lifestyle. If it's not, then I wouldn't do it. It's a lifestyle change. It's not just a job. So that and there are people that want to do that. There are people that like staying in a truck. Myself, I don't. I can tell you that straight up. I don't even like teams. I mean, I've driven on some of my team runs. I used to have some. I don't like them. I got rid of all of my team runs because of the fact that it's harder to maintain a team because a lot of times you got to have two very compatible people. And even the best compatible people will get in arguments with each other and want to move on and change teams. I've had that to happen in the past. I've had husband and wife teams. I've had boyfriend and girlfriend teams. I've had all kind of combinations, and it puts a burden on the contractor because his loads don't discriminate with who he has in the truck. So, if a man and wife are married and they're a team for you, you have to explain to them, if the husband gets sick, we're sorry. Your wife needs to go with that other driver that we assign that to get that load taken. And that's a tough situation to put somebody in. If it's a husband and wife team or a boyfriend and girlfriend team. And we've had that situation in the past, but it has to, we can't invent two drivers. So when you have a team down like that, it's a very tough situation to be put in. So I never really liked that. So the times that I've had to deal with it were not very comfortable. So I chose to get away from that. Plus, I don't want my trucks that far away from home either. I don't mind my trucks going out and coming back, and we're only at most 250 miles away. I mean, any location we're at, we're only usually about 250 miles away from the terminal. And if we're in that proximity, then we can get to it and repair it usually a lot quicker than anything else. Yeah, if you are even then though, you're still responsible. Even if you're an owner operator, you're still, if you've got a contract with FedEx, they don't care who you put in the seat. I mean, but they want you to maintain that run regardless. So, I mean, if something happens and, your wife gets sick for 2 or 3 weeks, you have to have a replacement driver. Or that being said, if you get sick for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, you've got to have a replacement driver because you're only allowed so many refusals of a run. And then they will basically eliminate that run or take that run away from you is what they'll do. I mean, and I've seen some cases where we've had contractors, even on single operation runs, that wouldn't keep a driver in it on a steady pace and lost the run. We had a guy that lost a Beckley run. It's been about 2 or 3 years ago. and he just couldn't keep a driver in it, and he didn't drive himself, and it got down to where he was refusing to run or turning down the run too many times, and they took it away from him. Oh yeah, yeah. That's the other reason too. It's when you're out. Hey, good morning, Ralph. When you're out and about and you don't know what the guys on the other end, what the wrenches are on the other end, are going to do to you. I've been taken advantage of. I got taken advantage of in Texas one time by a guy, and it just you're at their mercy. If they get you rolling again, that's what you're after. And sometimes you'll pay out the nose. I got taken advantage of by a wrecker in Atlanta. I think I've told some of y'all this story. It happened last year. I had a driver that stalled out at, well, I don't know exactly what he said. The key messed up on him. The starter messed up on him. Anyway, he was on a ramp in Atlanta, went up the emergency ramp. I'm not emergency ramp, the exit ramp, and stalled the truck out and couldn't get it started back. They called out a wrecker. The wrecker moved me across the street, and then when he got across the street, I will have to give him credit. He fixed the truck, whereas my driver was not even mechanically inclined enough to know what was wrong with the switch. He did that after he pulled it across the street. Charged me $900 to move it 100 yards. So, yeah, you get taken advantage of by wreckers sometimes, big time. And we had one that years ago that I had one that a guy fell asleep and rolled a truck. He didn't completely roll it. They uprighted everything. The truck and the trailers kind of just laid it over in a ditch up in Virginia. The guy uprighted them and then towed my truck and my two trailers about 2 miles and charged me for the truck, and then charged the trailers to the company. He charged $7,500. So that's what you get into sometimes out here on the road. So it can be bad. And I had another one that caught fire. Yeah, I can tell you about that one. That caught fire. And they moved that one just about a mile. I was only about a mile from the terminal. And they charged me, let me get all this straight. I think my part of it was $10,000 to move my towed burnt truck, because they did all the hazmat stuff. They said they had to get all the hazmat, although it didn't leak anything, but they had their hazmat team out there and everything else because of being a fire. And they charged me $10,000. Then they charged FedEx, I think, another $7,500 to move two trailers 1 mile. Hey, Kevin, how are you? Yeah, yeah, they can really break it off in you. Yeah, I mean, car tows and everything can be tough out there. I mean, you've got to really, it's bad. It's really bad when you're a mechanic or, somebody that's in the towing business or something yourself, and you know what it costs and what it should charge. And then you get they just break it off in you. Yeah. Yeah. It's pathetic out there sometimes. I mean, I'm all for somebody, making a profit. I mean, that's what we're out here for. We're out here to make a profit, but we're not out here to gouge people. And sometimes some of these people feel like, well, how much can I gouge them for today? How much extra can I get out of them today? And that's a pathetic situation when you get like that. Yeah, they really should. They really can. Oh, I know the new rotator, like JC's talking about, and I had a rotator truck come after one of mine. I've had two burned trucks, and I had a guy that came after mine up in Tennessee, and I asked him what his cost, and I want to say his was upwards of close to $1 million truck. It was a beautiful record, and it had the rotator, and he could pick up. They're designed to pick up the biggest tragedy you've ever seen out there, and yeah, those are expensive. But a lot of times the problem is the guy that doesn't have the rotator. He just got a regular wrecker. He's just out there on rotation, and then he gets you. And then you'll have some wrecker companies that are very reasonable out there. It just depends on the individual sometimes, and the bigger the name of the company out there, the bigger the bill is. A lot of times, I can tell you that. I mean, when they see FedEx on the side of my trucks, they definitely they're going cha-ching automatically. Or if you see UPS, cha-ching, whoever, when they see one of the major carriers, they know that's money in the bank right there, because they know they're going to pay it. They know they're going to pay it. I mean, that's like me. What I get with the bills on like that, they'll bill directly to FedEx, and FedEx bills me back. So that's what happens. Yeah, you're when you get in here, I mean, I've got, JC has a record, and I've got a record. We got the less expensive records, and that's all I need. I don't need, of course, now I have my nephew has the big rotator. He has 4 big records. He's in the record business. He does that for FleetNet and his own shop and everything. He has 4 of the huge trucks just like that, and that's a good business for him. And I'm not trying to disparage all record companies, but there are some that will gouge. There are some that are very reasonable and take into consideration what the situation is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to see. My nephew has bought several JC lately. He's got some very fancy, great big fancy triaxle wreckers, rotators, the whole works. Yeah, now that's basically what I've got, Kevin. I've got a fifth wheel to fifth wheel tow attachment for mine. We can tow our trucks back, and I had one just the other day, and it comes in handy big time for me, because you figure the average tow when I get somebody to go get one, we'll pay upwards of around anywhere from $700 to $1,800. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out right quick. If you got a fleet of 50 trucks, and you might have as many as 10 to 15 tows a year for different variations, it will pay for you to have at least a small tow situation. Yeah, that's what I want to get next too. And yeah, they're around, like what you say, about 30K. JC, I've looked at them too. My nephew has 2 of them like that. He has 2 with the undertow that are fifth wheel attached, and then they're undertow after that. I think he's got one even with a drop axle too. I think that one costs a little bit more. Where then it gives you a triaxle mode, but there's all kind of different variations. And plus, he has the big rotator wrecker too. So he's gotten into that big time, and got him 4 wrecker drivers now that are on 24/7 with him. Yeah, and I'd like to find one. If you find 2, let me know. I've got a big Freightliner I'd like to put one on. I got one that's stretched pretty good, so it would be a good one to have like that, because you want the length too. I mean, if you get too short of a wrecker, then you don't have the towing. Well, it doesn't feel as secure. I mean, I've towed them with single axles before, but it feels pretty secure, a lot more secure if you've got the weight distribution right by having a longer tandem, and then your axles and everything. Then you can actually put some weight on your front axle if you need be. And that's what you'll get sometimes. You'll see the guys, and they'll have a big heavy bumper on the front to use as a weight ballast for yourself, and that comes in handy. Exactly. If I haven't, where are they made out of? Yeah, yeah. I got. Well, see, mine's that's what I've got. I've got my wrecker is on the that's on that older Volvo that I got a '99 model Volvo with an N14 with an 18 speed. So the running gear is excellent in that truck. It's been very good, and we've uh, it was a truck that I bought. We actually put it on. It was on the road for a while with my Amazon stuff, and then we realized when we were backing off on the Amazon that one would be an excellent wrecker with that 18-speed transmission. So we converted it over to a wrecker, and it'll pull it. It'll pull just about anything out of any situation we get. So that's what we have done. One of these days, I might fancy it up. I might get a different towing uh, tow situation with it and put uh, the undercarriage on it. But I mean, as far as running gear, it's a great truck for us, though. Well, that's it. Everybody's doing the pre-emission. Most of you wreckers out there, you'll see. I mean, you'll see some of the fancy ones too. They got new ones if they got, the multi-million-dollar trucks. But a lot of them, you'll see, are pre-emission wreckers going after the emission trucks. Is what they're basically saying. A lot of times you'll see a lot of the tows are because of people that have got trucks that are derated because of their EGR and regen systems and everything else. That gets to be a big portion of why trucks are being towed now. That's right. The simpler you keep that wrecker, the better off you are. And if you try to put that wrecker into too fancy of a situation, as far as motor and everything else, and you're way better off. A pre-emission '99 model or back is definitely what you'd want, because uh, you're gonna be able to go up and fire it up, and it's going to crank every time, just about. Well, that's what we've done, and I think that's what JC's talking about doing there too. Yeah, that's what you get, Kevin. I mean, it's a sad situation. Um, you find that yeah, you can, a 2006, yeah, you can. You still got a little bit of EGR on it, but it's pre-emissions as far as the regen system. Yeah, 2007 is the last year that all the major manufacturers could make those, and even you'll find some of the 2007s. You have to be careful of that. Make sure it doesn't have a regen system on it. Yeah, now it'll have a EGR cooler on it. I think most of them. Even, I've got a 2006 Cat, and it's got an EGR cooler on it. No, I didn't see that. The JC flip a Bobcat? He's getting in your way of doing things. No, I had to go back. I've been busy this week doing some repairs and a few other things. I didn't get to see that. I'll have to go back and see that. I um, I bet Miss Brenda filming that when he did it. Good gracious! Oh man, yeah. If you run one out of def, it will definitely mess up. It'll mess up that. We've got one right now that we've already put a new def pump on, and we're having some problems with one right now. I don't know what we're going to do. We thought we had it fixed and regened it, put a new def pump and a couple other sensors on it, and it messed up twice on us this past week. We had to bring it in Thursday, I believe it was, and we're going to have to read. I don't know. I hope I don't have to put a new one box on it, because you're looking about $7,000 just for a one box. Yeah, that's tough. I bet he got that old telehandler out. That's what he did. Well, I'm not into deleting yet. People keep saying delete, and I have not I'm afraid there's going to be complications with the deleting systems. I mean, if it gets to a point that I have to, I may experiment, because I've got one that definitely has a one box problem right now, and I've thought about it, but it's, I got to. It's there. You're looking at people charging you $2,000 to delete it too. So when you do that, I don't know what other complications may come up. That's what you get into. Well, that's the other part I'm worried about, JC, is I'm hearing that people are getting fined, just like when people were getting fined for using the red diesel fuel too. Basically, you pull into a scale house, and if they caught that red diesel fuel in your tank, you might as well just say, "Here's the title to the truck. You can have it," because they would find you upwards of $35,000-$40,000. What I was hearing, it was bankrupting people when they were doing that. So there's certain things you don't want to circumvent. You don't want to be the guinea pig. I don't want to be the guinea pig. I know that. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, Kevin. That the delete fines are terrible, and like I said, I don't want to be the guinea pig to that. I have not personally seen or heard of what it was. I've heard, but and I don't know of anybody that was personally done to. But I don't want to be getting on the channel one day and telling everybody that I got fined for being a person that deleted something. I mean, I would rather I'd rather just read about it than be about it. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean that people. I just don't want to get a $20,000 fine for circumventing something that I know, if I stay within the means of what it's supposed to be. And the newer systems are getting better. I mean, uh, we got some 2015 trucks uh, that are doing really good. That I got some 2013s that are giving me a little more issues, but I'm not trying to uh, go too far back on that. I mean, you get back to the eights and the nines and tens and everything on that. Those are the trucks that are really having problems uh, with the EGRs and all that. Oh, let me straighten up here. I'm kind of getting slumped down in my seat too much. I better straighten the camera just a hair here too. See if I can't. I get the camera pointed down too much, and I get sloped too much. Wow. So you had a friend that helped you flip that one? Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. So everybody, you want to see some interesting projects, guys? I always like to promote a couple of my buddies on here. If you're not already on their channels, please sign on to their channels. Uh, Chris at Outcast Projects. Kevin, I haven't. How many have you got? Very many videos out there. I haven't checked. JC has a ton. If you like to see it, JC does a lot of work. Does like I tell people, I I got turned on to JC's, but just looking up, I was needing to find out some information about a certain something I think with one of my forwards or something, and I was typing in the information on YouTube, and JC's site came up, and I watched it. I said, that's pretty interesting. Then I watched another one. I said, well, that's pretty interesting. I said, I'm gonna subscribe to this guy, and then that's how I got to meet JC, and then later on, JC and I started chatting and talking on the phone, and JC actually came down and bought a trailer and a truck from me and sold one in the process. He's a hustler. JC's a hustler. So he came down, he brought a truck down from Ohio and sold it, turned around, and we picked up a trailer for him that he had bought in South Carolina. And he turned around and bought all that and took it back to Ohio. And of course, he's already sold. I think you've sold both pieces. the truck you bought from me, he sold, and then the truck. Did you hang on to that trailer, JC, or did you sell it too? Yeah. Well, that's what you got to do, Kevin. I didn't think I'd seen any of yours out there. But, you know, once you do, we'll promote you. You get to be a friendship in here with a lot of these people, and I try to. People have helped me over the years get mine started, and I want to do the same thing for anybody that's comes on my channel. And I try to check out everybody's channel and you know, look at their sites and see what they're doing. I checked Ponca out one time to see. Ponca hadn't got very many up, but I checked his out. And but Chris puts out a lot of. Chris gets a lot of barn finds, and I had to talk to you, Chris. I thought about the other day of actually putting a compilation of yours out there and then posting it up on my site, if you didn't mind, and then tell people to go see yours. But yeah, it's tough, Chris. When you I'm reading Chris's statement there. Yeah, it's tough when you get new equipment and you know it's industrial, you know, equipment that you want to work. It's tough when you see it get scratched up. I know I've had that to happen. Somebody broke broke the left side of my fiberglass on my tool cat, and I hated it because I was real proud of it. It was a real clean looking machine, and I real proud. Then next thing you know, it's just another machine. Get out there and use it. Don't worry about it. Don't baby it. Don't polish it too much. It's a working machine, so you got to you know, use it as such. Hey, comfortable man. Well, I didn't even see you in here. You hadn't said much. Well, you go ahead and get rolling. We appreciate you jumping in here. Okay, and is that you that put a video on about going through New York City? I'll check it out if it is, Kevin. Well, I might do that. I'm gonna see what we come up with, because I thought about the other day. I said, you know, he's got a lot of short clips, and I've got the capability of doing that, of putting something together. And I said, well, I'll get out there and I'll maybe do that and just throw that up on my site. And my site's growing pretty good right now. And if it grows, then I'll share it. JC may even put it on his. I don't know. We'll try to help each other out and get everybody's sites growing, because you've got a lot of views. I mean, I've got the analytics I bought that one program that's got all the analytics and everything, and I've been studying that, and that seems to have helped me grow. And I've been doing some things that they tell you to do, and of course, putting out videos and going on different sites. And when you interact, like when I go on JC's site and we chat, and you go on it and we chat, other people see us, and they, you know, it comes a community. It comes a community of people talking. And you know, I've got 4 or 5 people that I kind of go on somewhat regular, and we try to do an open chat like that. And those things seem to help. Kevin's on a lot of different things. I see Kevin out here. He's on a lot of different, some of the same ones that I'm on too. And like I say, JC's on several of them. And, you know, I see there's a community of people that kind of get together, and you blend all that onto all these other channels. And as everybody grows, you kind of grow with them a little bit. Yeah. Well, yeah, I might do something like that. If you don't mind, Chris, I may do a compilation type thing of showing my buddy Chris at Outcast, and just put some of yours together on a little bit of a montage, and I'll put that up and see if we can help promote you on yours too. And I'll throw it out there. And you know, sometimes I'm editing stuff of mine, and I go, well, this isn't much or whatever. You know, I don't, you know, I say, you know, if I do this, this, and this, I could probably put together a good video. Yeah, you've got to, that's what you get. I doubt I get a million videos, but I mean, you never know. Sometimes some of these hit. Yep, and like JC said, that regular content is good. Regular content is and that's what I'm trying to get more and more of myself. I do the morning Sunday morning show, and I've done a couple other drop-ins. CP Tool Addict, I've been on his site and chatted on there and did a live feed. And then Red Viking Trucking has interviewed me uh, on his site, and all those different things have seemed to help grow my channel. And then the regular, I've been trying to be more consistent with the videos and get the analytics that YouTube says do, and it seems to be working. You don't know, you really don't know. Like Kevin says, you don't know what hits. Just put videos. It's sort of like somebody told me one time, throw enough crap on the wall and something's bound to stick. And that's what I'm trying to do. But I'm trying to make decent content too. They tell you, and even like on my live show, I come over here and I've got decent lights, and I got me a good camera, and I've got me a decent microphone that I've got here in this studio, or as I call it, and into this office here. And I got good live feed. I tried it at home a couple of times, but my Wi-Fi and I got DSL down there is terrible. I got Spectrum over here, which has got a good signal, and it seems to come in good. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's right. Now they say these live chats, so you can do them longer like that. And I went back on one of Google's tutorials, and they're talking about that. And then they were talking about splitting them up and putting them together and doing a montage. And that's what I was thinking of Chris and everything. Chris has got a lot of short videos, and you could do a montage of that and put it together. And like I said, Chris, I may do that for you if you don't mind, and I'll just put it up on my site. I've got the software that I can do it fairly easy with. Yeah, there's a lot of fake sites, and that's why I try to steer people. I mean, like JC is not a fake site. JC is actually getting out there working, building stuff. You know it when you see it. Uh, there are certain people, and there's certain people that they're hung on toolboxes and tools. I mean, that's fine. I mean, everybody, I like them, and I'll watch some of them too. But there's people that are, unfortunately, I think, are bankrupting themselves or overextending themselves, buying tools just so they can prove that they can buy tools. And that's not the way to buy tools. I buy tools when I need the tools, or when there's a bargain. I mean, I bought out, and I know JC has too. JC had bought out a mechanic, I think, that had a big toolbox with Snap on and Mac and everything else, and kept what he wanted and sold the rest. And I've done stuff like that. I don't like to. I hate to see people just being the advertisement for the manufacturer, because they want to grow their channel by doing that. And that's, yeah, I do the same thing. Now, Think Media, I watch Think Media. Yeah, I do that, Kevin. They Think Media is one that has turned me on to doing some things the right way. So I will do that. And I needed to get my thumbnails, and I didn't realize thumbnails were such an important thing. And I have been lacking on that, and I've been trying to figure out a way to easily do thumbnails uh, to improve the site. No, I guess my time zone's an hour behind you. It's 9:49 right now. Yeah, and that's what people are doing. Like JC said, a lot of them are trying to get free garbage or free tools. I mean, if it comes about that somebody wants to advertise and you are legitimately using their product, I think it's fine. But if you want to just turn yourself into a new Billy May who gets on there and uh, does a quick commercial and shouts and goes on and says this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, that's your prerogative. But I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to go to 8:49 in Oklahoma. It's 9:40 or 9:50 now here in Cherryville. Yeah, we're on the Eastern Standard Time down here. I think now JC's on Eastern Standard. I think too. I think you are, aren't you, JC? You're not on Central, are you? I think JC's still on Eastern. And but yeah, Sean does on his show. He on that him and the trying to think the girl that anyway, there's a girl on there that does pretty good too. Yeah, there's a couple of 2 or 3 of them that do pretty good on that. I've got between that and going back on YouTube's actual tutorials on things, you can they do it through analytics and they do it through their algorithm. So if you don't meet their algorithm, you won't grow as fast, and that's the truth. Yeah, yeah, that's and that's the thing about it, Chris. Like you're saying, I like my channel may not grow as fast because I want to do it differently, but yeah, you don't want to prostitute. I don't want to prostitute the channel just to get the growth. Some people are. Some people are prostituting their own channel just so they can make everything grow faster. Yeah, yeah, I'm the same way, JC. You see a guy do a tool review, and he's probably never used that tool. He's probably and he opens up his toolbox. If I had a mechanic that had a toolbox that looked as clean as some of those guys have out there, I believe I'd fire the mechanic because that guy spent more time cleaning his tools than he did working on my equipment. I my guys at the end of the day, I mean, they don't put all the tools back. They leave them laying where they're working. I don't care. My guys are working their tail off. They're working till the clock stops. I mean, at the end of the day or whatever, until they're ready to quit. They don't go out there and, well, let's spend 45 minutes cleaning all of my tools, putting it back right in here. We're going to make it look really good when I pull that drawer out. I'm sorry, that's just not my way of running a shop. And if I had a guy that's he felt like it was his obligation to spend 45 minutes on the clock to clean his tools, that's not the mechanic I want. So we look at the job. The job has to get done. At the end of the day, when the job's done, then that guy can go on home. Now, my guys clean up behind themselves and they do what they're supposed to do, but they're not. It's not everything about putting the tool away as much as it is getting the job done. So, I mean, that's the difference between the way we run our shop and the way some of them appear to run their shops or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I like real world use too, JC. I don't want to, yeah, it's just, you know, I like seeing real world situations as opposed to fake setup. I mean, there's some people out there that are they're spending half a day doing camera work. Uh, I try to do camera work if it fits the occasion. I've got a gimbal that I can throw together in just 2 seconds and walk around and take a pretty decent video. I've tried to figure out a way to do that that's easily and without interference. I mean, I don't want the camera to be an interference of what's going on in my shop. So the shop sites, and I've asked my guys, Larry that works for me is sort of shy. He doesn't like to be on camera much. Uh, but I kid him about things, and he said, I don't really want to do that. And I said, well, I'm not trying to embarrass anybody or whatever. I said, I'm just doing a good shot of what's going on in the shop, and we have a record of it, and then we can kind of promote it. Yeah, I mean, I agree on the organization, but I mean, I'm talking organization and trying to over clean is two different things. Yeah, I mean, I want my guys being organized. I don't want them just throwing things anywhere. I don't want to mislead anybody. But I know what you're talking about, but I hope you understand. Good morning, Mark. How are you? Uh, but what I'm saying is, you see some of these guys that it seems to be that they're more interested in keeping the tool clean than they are using the tool, and that's the part that bothers me. Organization. Now we keep ours organized, and Jim and Larry both, they keep them pretty well organized, but they don't put that as the top priority of the day. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, they don't think, well, I got to spend 45 minutes right before I leave cleaning tools and then quit for the day. We usually are working on a project to get it out the door, and then we'll quit for the day. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, uh, but you have a lot of tool collectors out there. We know who they are. I mean, you've seen everybody. I'm not going to name names of the ones that I feel like are just tool collectors. Uh, there's people that are pretending to have a shop almost. It appears sometimes. There's some that pretend to be able to do work. Uh, you can see through it by the way they conduct themselves, and I don't want to be in that situation. Uh, I mean, when we shoot something, we're shooting something that actually pertains to our business. I'm not going to do a pretend shot of some. In other words, I'm not going to say, "Hey, let's pretend we're going to take out a transmission," or "Let's pretend we're going to do a clutch." If we're doing a clutch job and we film the clutch job, it's a clutch job. I'm not gonna stage anything just to get a video. And some of these are staged, and that's the situation that I don't want to get in. And I don't think and that's why you see JC's stuff. JC is not staging stuff just to show us a video. He shoots a video of what he is actually doing, and there's a lot of difference between that, and you can see it. He takes the time to show us, and it's a great thing. But he's not. I doubt he's saying, Brenda, let's make up something to do today just so we can get a good video out. I don't think he does that. I mean, he's realism. Chris is realism. A lot of other guys are too. That's why I like to help talk about some of the other friends I have out here on the chat. I mean, I like to talk about these things and all that. I hadn't talked about much what I've done this week. Hey, Tony, how are you? Okay, boomer. Yeah, I'm a boomer. I'm proud of it too, son. I guess you're not a boomer. I don't know who Tony is, but I do know something I can do. See you, Tony. I don't know who he was. I try to have a friendly chat on here. Okay. If you're a boomer in that way, Tony, I thought for a minute, Tony, you were trying to just be insulting and everything else. If you're a boomer sooner, I'm fine. Or if you're talking about boomers about age, I'm a baby boomer. Yeah, I don't know if Tony Macaroni is a real person, real name, but we'll let him stay out for a little bit. Yeah. And that's, you're now, Kevin, I can't remember now. You're owner operator, or are you working for a company? You'll have to refresh my memory here. You're an owner operator too. Yeah. No, I was talking to Kevin. Yeah, Tony Macaroni can. Oh, so you're a company driver. Okay. All right. Well, now see, hadn't you been chatting about wanting to be an owner operator, or you? I couldn't remember. Yeah. Thank you, Ponka. I'm glad you checked that out. Yeah, it's hard to check all these at the same time. Well, why aren't those trucks fixing themselves? They're trying to go to automated trucks now. Yeah, I understand that. Well, JC, I appreciate you jumping in here for a little bit, and I'm gonna chat here for a little bit and see what my wife is giving me a little more free reign this morning. I don't have as many projects coming up this morning, so I was just gonna stay on here and chat a little bit. Yeah, JC, as I was saying, JC's uh, I think it's a great person, and great to watch his channels. Uh, he has some good informative stuff. Very good, very informative things out there. And Chris, I think Chris has got a lot of energy too, and he and Ricky and some of the guys out there. I asked you, I saw that pretty room out there, Chris. You never did reply. I said, I guess you're getting that ready for me. Me and the wife will be out. We're going to be heading out that way in a couple of weeks. We're going to be in March. We're going to start heading out west. We've got a conference to go to on April the 6th in Las Vegas with Napa. And the wife and I are going to travel via our car. We're going to, I didn't want to fly. She didn't want to fly. She doesn't like flying for one reason. I tolerate it more than she does, but neither one of us want to do it. She said, well, why don't we just see the United States as we go? So we're going to drive out to Las Vegas from North Carolina, and we're going to try to see a lot of different points of interest that we've talked about over the years. And okay, is my site buffering with y'all guys out there? I usually have a real good signal. Is my site Mark's having? Is it Mark's situation, or is it my situation over here, guys? Is my signal good? My audio and video good? Mark was saying he's buffering. Of course, if Mark's down there around Bessemer, so that could be it's buffering a little bit, a little. It's okay for you, Ponka. I'm trying to get a good signal here. Okay, you got good video and everything. If you got good video and everything, it must be where the other people are right now, I guess, because my signal hasn't changed out here that I know of. I usually have a real good signal. And Martin, aren't you down in Bessemer City area? I can't remember. I remember you telling me that you're a neighbor of mine. I thought you were in the Gastonia, Bessemer City area. At the Casinos Hotel, where is that? Oh, you're in Dallas. Okay, I thought it was Bessemer, Dallas area. Okay, yeah, I need to put you in here as a moderator too. I'll add you in. I like having moderators, and they can help me out in case we get somebody crazy jump on like that last dude was a couple of statements ago. You're always going to have trolls out here for some reason or another. They'll see a live site and they'll jump on it and watch it for a little bit and then troll it and say something stupid. Oh, it's over in Dodge City. Well, yeah, if you can find something, just find something reasonable for me. I'll be glad to take anything. We'll come out there and check y'all out. I've been interested. I told my wife, I said, I got to get out and see Chris. And I'm trying to. I'm wanting to go see the arches in Missouri. And then I want to linger on down through there and get on the Route 66 part of it or whatever. Just I've got some ideas in the back of my mind. Boot Hill Casino. So now you live near the real Dodge City, that the old Western town, right? So that in itself is an interesting place to go see, I think. And do they have any interesting sites that aren't too touristy that are very interesting? Yeah. Dilling Transport LLC. Okay. Now, what are you hauling, Mark? What are you hauling with? You just are you just doing LTL freight? I have I haven't seen your trucks out there. I don't know if you've seen mine. Of course, you've seen FedEx Ground. I know, and I've got trucks that run right in through Dallas every day. You're power only. Okay, so you're power only, just pulling for whoever. Then are you? Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out, Chris, for sure. Yeah, Barbara and I will have to definitely. We're gonna swing through there. We're gonna take probably a week and a half getting out to Vegas, and try to. We're gonna try to be out to the Grand Canyon by the Saturday before we need to be. Uh, well, we got Sunday. We're going to be in Vegas, and and I didn't realize that the week we're there is the same week of the ACM awards. So we got that. And I went online. I said, well, maybe I'll just go to the ACM awards. Nope, not going to do that. Boy, that was expensive. And I'm going, why in the world are these people paying so much money to go see that? But that's an expensive ticket. Yeah, I definitely like to see something like that. We watched, my wife and I watched a movie the other night. It's on Netflix, and I recommend everybody watching it too. It's got Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson in it. It's called the Highwayman, and it's a true depiction. It actually goes. It's not a documentary. It's actually a movie, but it's about the Texas Rangers that actually helped kill Bonnie and Clyde, that tracked them down and killed them. And it was a good movie. I liked it, and we actually pulled up some historical notes about it, and they kept pretty much true to the storyline of what actually happened in real life. And so if you got Netflix and everything, I suggest that. And it's a little bit of blood and guts, because of the shootings and stuff like that. It's not gory or anything. But it has violence as far as shooting people. But I'm not a big proponent of movies anyway. But that one intrigued me, and Netflix has done a pretty good job. Yeah, yeah, I thought it's pretty neat. I saw that on Netflix the other night. I got a good setup at my beach, at my place in Hilton Head, and my wife and I, we like to watch movies when we're down there. I've got a good setup as far as the the streaming service and everything else. At my house, it doesn't stream as good because I'm on DSL. So I usually wait till I go to the beach and kind of make that part of my entertainment. Well, guys, I'm about to lose my voice. I've been on here about 70 minutes, so I'm going to. Yeah, it's not for the youngins, that's for sure. But I'm gonna get off of here, and well, I hope you do well, Mark, and I hope you jump in here more often. And every Sunday morning, I'll see everybody next Sunday at 9 o'clock. and the ones who want to jump in here. And for right now, I'm going to kind of get off because after about an hour or so, I lose my voice and all that sort of stuff. So take care, and I'll see y'all later.